Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on cryptoforgrowmybag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? So, been working with my streaming company to figure out what's going on. And it looks like we're still having trouble. This is a no bueno situation. What the heck? Can you guys see me? Because I'm not seeing the preview that I should be seeing. Okay, I'll just keep going then. Rick Ritchie, thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself. Yeah, the streaming company that I use is they must have made some changes on their end. I've been dealing with tech support, and they finally figured out, or I think they finally figured out what the issue is on their end. There's nothing going on my end, and they're actually writing some code to try to fix it, to try to address it. Seriously doubt if I'm the only person that's going through this stuff. That said, what's good, what's good, what's good? A lot of news happened. Tonight's question, who is the latest crypto-related company to file for a bank charter? Goldman Sachs, Grayscale, Stripe, or other. And if it's other, drop it in the comments below. It should be interesting. It should be very interesting to find out who it is. Because I was perplexed. I was definitely perplexed. Now, there's this thing called the Federal Beige Book. And the Federal Beige Book is basically tracking, the cost of goods, things like that. Another person that's doing the Yoda thing. Thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself, sir. One of my guys today just went off on Star Wars. He was just like, oh my God. We're testing image generation, and everything was Star Wars. Anywho, the Beige Report goes through everything that's going on with, just things all the way around, especially around tariffs, tax, prices of everything. Federal Reserve Beige Book links Trump's tariffs to inflation amid stagnant growth. Do you know what that last segment says? Amidst stagnant growth. Do you ever hear that term, stagflation? Yeah. I was thinking bridge, but it's an arm of Stripe, so I chose Stripe. Oh, I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. Hutanic, I'm gonna send you to the corner. Enough of that. I'm gonna send you to the corner. You can't have. I refuse to crack up tonight. Refuse to crack up. But I understand how you could feel that way, sir. So yeah, the Federal Reserve. So when you look at all these, here's the thing. How do you not think that? These people are running around thinking that tariffs are good. Tariffs are good. And then they go to the store. Why are my food prices so high? I sit there and I just look at people. I don't even say anything. I want to so bad. Like I want to give the lesson so bad. But it's kind of like, nope. I'm going to let you wallow in it. I'm going to let you wallow in it. And I go about my business because that's what I'm supposed to do. Just go about my business. But it is difficult to sit here and listen to people whine and bellyache. And they've got like no common sense about what's affected by tariffs. I think it was yesterday that the furniture tariffs. Oh, God. Yes, you heard me say it. The furniture tariffs went into effect. Yeah. It's all that stuff we order from North Carolina, biggest region in the country that, that makes furniture. Just, it's painful. It's painful. You pay for the tariffs. I pay for the tariffs. They're taxes on us. Okay? And then when you hear about just how the tariffs, how they want to use the tariffs and who benefits from the tariffs and all that other good stuff, I just sit there and I just go, wow. Federal Beige Book is letting you know this is where it's going toward. Tariffs are affecting inflation. Which is why I kept saying, I don't really agree. You've got to be playing. Guys, I just got an error from YouTube. Can you guys still see me? I know I'm streaming. But I can't see anything. That's great. That's awesome. I can see the chats. Thank you for letting me know, everybody. I can see the chats, but so now I'm flying blind. Because I normally have two monitors. The first monitor is me on this side of the internet. Locally, I can see myself and make sure everything's fine. On the other side of the internet, I have another monitor from YouTube that says, here's your monitor, as well as here's your chat session to go along with, your live chat to go along with everything. And right now I'm looking at an error message. It's outstanding. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna pause. I'm gonna keep talking, but I'm gonna refresh the screen. There could be a little hokey pokey going on there, but I'm still here. I just want to see if refreshing the screen will do anything for us. Anywho, that's a big deal. Okay, that's a really big deal yeah, no, I'm just getting the error. Forget it. It's not going to happen. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's annoying. It's annoying. Because then if something happens on the stream, I can't see it. And some people might think that you have two monitors, so don't you see the delay? Yes, I see the delay. But based on my body action, sometimes I'll make a body movement just so I can see where the conversation is on the screen, right? So over here, I'll make a body motion. Over there, I'll see a body motion, and I can kind of tag that to a chat, right? So it's just a pain in the tail. No, I'm sorry. I'm not accepting any advice at this time. And the reason why is because I own a technology company. Sorry. Thank you. But nah, it's not about that. It's there. It's on YouTube side. I can't fix that. That's the whole point of having their studio software is they're supposed to stream it back to you. It's supposed to be your monitor on there. So it's like a whole big thing, But no, it's them. It's not me. It's you. It's not me. It's you. Yeah, that's what I'd be saying to them right now. It's a pain in the tail. Something else that I saw. Joe Moglia. You might not know this guy, but he used to be the head of TD Bank. TD Ameritrade, as a matter of fact. I used to work for him. Company back in the day that he was backing, and I was there as the program manager to help them out, as a consultant to help them out. And I remember he stopped coming to the New York office. So I snagged his chair. I left him a note, and I said, I sent him an email, and I said, I'm going to snag your chair. I hope that's cool. And he actually replied back, yeah, that's fine. It was an awesome friggin' executive chair. That's why I wanted it, because it was a big chair, and I'm a big guy. I was sitting on one of these small little rinky-dink chairs. Felt like every time I sat down, it was going to break. But Joe Moglia says within the next 5 years, you're going to see full tokenization of the financial markets. That's what he believes. Within the next 5 years. And he cited BlackRock's adoption, but highlighting all ongoing challenges and regulation. That's true. But he's like, still, with everything that's going on, within the next 5 years, you're going to see traditional finance be, be tokenized on a large scale. And it makes sense. That's what I've been trying to explain for the past little while, is that if traditional finance wants to get off these antiquated systems, now might be the best time ever for them to do so. And the reason why I say so is because what you're looking at is moving to a technology that is so up to date. You're always looking for the Bible of data, right? Your source of record, meaning everything here is the way it's supposed to be. Everything here is written in stone. It's done. And everything else should feed off of that information, right? And moving the blockchain would solve a lot of technical problems, meaning how data gets moved between all of the systems. Now, I know I rag on banks all the time, but the fact is that there are so many systems that are built within a bank that are actually necessary. Some people would be like, oh, they don't need all those systems and blah, 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 blah. No. They absolutely need all those systems. They're running calculations all day, every day, right? All day, every day. I gave you the example before about how, let's suppose you have a retirement account someplace. They've got to track all of that from the day you have that account. From the moment you have that account, they've got to track it for however long you're there, and then thereafter. Most people, their retirement account just goes. And we're talking for decades. For decades. So a bank's infrastructure does nothing but grow. And the only way that you can control it in any kind of way is every so often to upgrade. But sometimes you have technologies that can't be upgraded. Cannot be upgraded. Can't get there from here. And if you're a technologist, you understand that, yes, there are those times where you absolutely can't change a thing. So when I look at these systems, I'm kind of like, dang. But tokenization would be the leap. It would be not even the leap. It would be the bridge for them to be able to upgrade. It would make it so much easier. I mean, think about settlements. Jane Fraser was out there saying, listen, it would help us with anti-money laundering, know your customer, AML, KYC. Those are huge, huge things. Huge things. And that would help. Now, I've brought this up before, and I don't think people really got it. I hope you do now. But that would affect so many businesses across the board. What else do banks do? They give loans for cars, mortgages. So pause for a second. So you're looking at two different industries that would almost be forced into tokenizing themselves, right? That car, that VIN, vehicle ID number, VIN. That car, that VIN, tokenized. I don't have to worry about who owns it or anything else like that. It's all right there on the blockchain. Boom. That house, the title, I've mentioned title searches before. Imagine right now, you see all those commercials right now, they're popping up all over the place. Somebody could have stolen your house. Somebody could have stolen your house. You don't even know it. Tokenizing your title, your mortgage, that would ice everything. Like that. It would ice everything. It's like dead. Boom. Done. But that would wreck, in terms of mortgages, that would wreck the title industry, right? Because if you hold a mortgage right now, there are no liens, no nothing. That's a clean title. I can tokenize from right there. Don't even have to worry about the history if I didn't want to. I can tokenize from that point forward. How you going to steal that title? Yeah, not going to. There's so many ways that they can protect your title right now. They don't. So there is such a thing as stealing your title. It's crazy hard to do, especially if you're with a reputable bank, because you have a mortgage. It's not really yours. It's theirs. You get like a promissory note, like a, it'll be yours as long as you give us back all that money. But tokenizing everything just in the financial industry, that has a ripple effect that would be felt for a long way out, a very long way out. That's why I'm telling you guys, pay attention to that. Why would I have stocks if there is a disruption from AI and blockchain? I don't even know what that statement means. I don't understand what you're trying to say with that statement. Why would I have stocks if there is a disruption from AI and blockchain? You guys are braver than me. I'm having a hard time following that. Where's patient one? I know you're trying to say something there, and I know it's important. I just can't follow that. I can't follow those words. It's not about, think about it like this. It's not really about the bank in this case. It's about the modernization of, how do you say it? The modernization of civilization, I guess. Right? Because how are you going to have these holes? Everybody's reading from the blockchain. Everybody can see it. It's difficult to break into that. You're providing more protection for people that are holding mortgages or loans. You're holding more on both sides of that, right? Protects both parties. And like I said, the ripple effect from tokenization is tremendous. Tremendous. You're talking about a whole industry, title insurance, title insurance, right? That whole industry disappears. What do I need you for? I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore. I can track back to each title that exists right now. Right now. And then what else happens? Well, then you're affecting the court systems. That could happen. Your brain's been overclocked all day. I know the feeling. I know the feeling, let me tell you. So that's a big deal. So when I listen to Joe Moglia saying that tokenization is going to be rampant in 5 years, I can believe it. Larry Fink from BlackRock was saying that yesterday on CNBC. Tokenization is going to be here. It's going to be huge. And I don't think that there are too many people out there that are looking at those ripple effects. I said, last year before last, if I'm a title company, I'm going to try to take all of my records and I'm going to tokenize them now, so I'm ahead of the game. And I'm going to start thinking about what my new business model is going to be. Every year, if you want a business, every year you should be making an adjustment to your 5-year plan. It should be a rolling 5-year plan. Not, I have a 5-year plan. I'm in year 1 of my 5-year plan. I'm in year 2 of my 5-year plan. It's like, no, every year starts a new 5-year outlook. You're increasing by a year. So your roadmap should be, in 5 years, I'm setting these milestones. And as you come across, it's a rolling 5 years. And you're comparing to where you should have been. Sometimes you have to make adjustments. Sometimes an opportunity arises and it takes priority over everything else. Understandable. But you still had a 5-year plan. So now when you would make that adjustment for the next 5 years, how did that affect your next 5 years? So If you'd have been doing this 2, 3 years ago, when I first started talking about it, first started suggesting it, you'd have been ahead of the game, right? You'd have been able to figure out, like, is there, with the skill set that I have in my company to do title searches and everything else, what can I do? What other business can I get into? Because that's going to be done. Like, gone. And if given some time, you could probably sit down and you could probably think about, well, what other businesses do banks touch from a loan perspective, from all of that? What other businesses get touched, to see how far that ripple effect goes? Tokenized deposits. That's what Jane Fraser was talking about. Not just tokenizing what we already have in the bank, tokenizing the deposit. As soon as it comes in, bam. Because not a lot of places actually deal in cash. Retail stores might be the last places that deal in cash, and I know a lot of retail stores that don't take cash. Of course, I know a couple of retail stores that only take cash. But that advantage has gone away a long time ago, but they're still doing it. But I know a lot of those stores, there's a favorite pizzeria that the kids go to. They used to only do cash. Now they actually do Venmo. They started realizing that they might have the best pizza, but they really are losing customers, because who walks around with cash? Who walks around with cash? I mean, I might have $5 or $10 in my pocket in case I need a water or something like that. But who walks around with cash? Just saying. It's the craziest thing. It is the craziest thing. So yeah, that's what Joe Mowgli is saying. Like I said, and that guy, when I say Wall Street Titan, Joe Mowgli. And he's coming right on the heels of Larry Fink, current Wall Street Titan, saying the same thing. Then you have Ant Group, a layer 2 Ethereum blockchain. Yeah. Aims to integrate real-world assets into DeFi with institutional-grade scalability and compliance. Why? Because they're building their own layer 2 on what? Ethereum. There was another company the other day. I forgot who it was. It's going to be I'm going to be annoyed until I remember it. But there was another company the other day, and they were like, oh, we just got an upgrade because we moved from Ethereum to Solana. Okay. But, Ethereum is the best. Yes, I don't get it. But Ant Group's building their layer 2. And that they're expecting to tap into a lot of new customers because of that build out. When you write a check, sometimes it's currency and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's credit. Dead serious. I think people should really do some research. Remember how I was telling you guys to go look at Ray Dalio? Ray Dalio has a cartoon. It's like a 3 to 5 minute cartoon that describes that describes the difference between money and credit. Crazy, right? And so if you don't believe me, or you're not sure about what I mean, think about you having a bank account and you write a check for $500, knowing that you only have $200 in the account. But because you're such a good customer, they'll front you that $300 plus whatever interest they charge you for that micro loan. Technically, it's a micro loan that you're taking. That part is credit. The $200 is cash and the $300 is credit. Sometimes people write a check against their HELOC or home equity line of credit. I mean, somebody's sending somebody else some money and they're extending to you credit, right? So they're negative, you're positive because you paid a bill. You have to now pay them. All you did was buy time. When you get a mortgage, you get a car loan, any kind of loan, you're buying time. So yeah, it's crazy to think about. What else we have? New York City establishes the first municipal digital assets office. Because New York State is one of the hardest places to do a crypto business. And Eric Adams is, trying to stay out of trouble. He's trying to, look good, make moves. And he's like, I'm going to establish this office. We'll see what happens. I think most of the people in that office probably need to go have an education on blockchain. They should all go buy my books. Both of them. They should go buy my books. Just saying. Right? Follow up to check writing. Writing is why do you? Okay, I can't I can't pay attention to your sentences are not sentences, man. I'm sorry, I can't unravel that. Can't unravel that. What else do we have? SEC's review of 5x leverage Bitcoin ETFs. Would you do that? Would you get into an ETF? Rick Richard, you were having a hard time following that too? Did you? Was it screwy for a little while? Yeah. I tried to. I tried too hard. Hutanic, I don't know how far you go with understanding how check writing works, how that whole system works, right? And blockchain, I love when blockchain is not as easy as you think. There are rules to it. There are things that you have to follow. It's stricter math and things like that. But a lot of people think it's straightforward. Why do you think people move from, I don't know, Ethereum to Solana to Sui to Ton to Bitcoin? It's not as easy as you think. And think about this. They're not creating the blockchain. They're just trying to leverage it. It's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as you think. Don't look down on people when they have a hard time thinking about how to implement blockchain technology within a bank, a sprawling bank with systems that have to track damn near every time you inhale, exhale. They have to track every single penny all day, every day. Penny came in over here, went to go be used for that, then it went over there, and then this, that, the other. Something else that you have to understand is that most banks are not just one company. They have several different companies that make up the bank that do different things and yada, yada, blah, 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 because they have to follow different regulations. So hopping between systems, between legal entities is also a big deal. So there's a lot that has to be done. It's not easy the way you think it is. There's a lot of work that goes into that, a ton. And there's already a ton just for maintaining the systems that are there. This is why you walk into certain banks and they have systems that are like 40 years old. Software that's running that's like 40 years old. And people are like, what? Because they have to save all that data. Think about it like this. It's sort of like a stable coin. A stable coin's market cap doesn't go lower, right? It just keeps going. And just ding, 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 ding. You mint one, that's another one. You mint one, that's another one. Even if you burn it, it's still there. Just because nobody can access it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means nobody can access it, supposedly. So there's a lot. There's a lot. And most people don't understand how it works, so they should really stop talking about it. They don't know how it works. They think they know how it works. They don't. Not even close. Not even close. It's tough. It's a tough business. And then you have regulations which force you to have other systems to check the systems that you've got. Yeah, no, it's crazy. And it's not like they woke up one day and said, oh boy, I want to spend more money on more systems to check the systems that we already have. And then fail-safe systems that, just in case. Nobody wakes up and says that. But that's what has to happen. So when I look at a breach, or I look at, a bank getting in trouble for data management, I really dive in a little bit to understand, was that really a data management problem? Or was it just that the government woke up on the wrong side of the bed today? Been doing that for all this time. You made a change to the regulations and we haven't had a chance to respond to it yet. That's how that works. But enough about that. What else do we have? Weebus International introduces XRP powered blockchain to tokenize travel rewards. They're using XRP for settlements. Yeah. They think that they're going to be able to resolve the $100 billion issue of unclaimed loyalty points through real-time value conversion. Meaning, I've got points that have a dollar value. I'm not going to use them. They're going to give me a space where I can go trade those. I can go get some money for it. Think it's crazy? Did you know that there are sites where you can sell your gift cards? Yeah. Back in the day, I knew people that would go buy a gift card because gift cards would be on sale. So you'd go buy a gift card, already have paid a reduced price. When you go to sell the gift card to one of these places, there's an arbitrage sometimes. Ding. So, yeah. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. I go to the store and I see a gift card on sale and I'm like, oh, that's a restaurant I like, or that's a store that I like, or whatever it is. I want to buy that gift card. I literally want to buy that gift card because I'm going to save like what, 30%, 10%, whatever the percentage is. I'm just getting free money. Going in there, buying $100 gift card for like, $90, $80. That's a discount. I just saved massive amounts of money. Yeah. So they want to open up a business that will do that for your points. That's going to be an interesting business. That's going to be a crazy interesting business. North Korean state-sponsored campaign exploited the NPM supply chain. So you know how everybody talks about GitHub? All the developers talk about GitHub and going to GitHub and doing uploading their software, downloading software so they can continue their projects. Ta-da! Yeah. North Korea has been infiltrating certain places where they do that and catching people out there, developers. Scary. Got to watch everything that you're doing. It's insane. There's got to be a trust system, the whole nine. One of the biggest pieces of news today is that PayPal got $300 trillion of their own coin. $300 trillion. Yeah, Paxos minted $300 trillion of PayPal USD. Yeah, what is it? Pay USD or something like that? Yeah. Oops. It was a mistake. They knew it was a mistake. It was corrected, but it was a mistake. Everybody had to come out and have a statement about it. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a little bit of a problem for people. A little bit of a problem. It was 300 trillion, 300 million. Look back at my notes. It's dead straight up in the middle, right? Just before Eatzilla. No, 300 trillion. It's a fat finger mistake. Story that I read said 300 trillion PYUSD tokens on Ethereum, sparking debates about stablecoin security and regulatory oversight. Oops. That's a pegged stablecoin. That is a backed stablecoin. I know what I said. I said trillion. Unless I read something else that says billion, I meant trillion. Yeah. That's what made it like painfully obvious for people. ETHZilla, ETHZ shares fell 5%. Why? A reverse buyback. That's why it dropped. That's why it dropped. Listen, I just read the news. That I want to know why they want to do it though. And supposedly one of the reasons why is they think that it'll attract institutional investors. Yeah, okay. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Now, there's another company, Erebor, a crypto-focused bank. They got a conditional federal charter. They didn't file for it. They got it. So not related to the question that I asked. Close, but not. They got it. The OCC granted it to them. They're only the second bank, the second such company to get it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Coinbase is also, now this is crazy. Coinbase is actually going to wind up listing BNB. Now some people are sitting there and going, didn't they always? Go look. Go look. The answer to that is no. The answer to that is no. No, not at all. They did not. They absolutely did not. That's nuts. I mean, they used to. They used to do Binance's stablecoin. What is it, BUSD? And they took that off too. Remember? That wasn't that long ago. It was not that long ago because they're in bed with USDC, right? Because they own part of USDC. They make more money off of USDC than Circle makes off of USDC. The whole parent company thing, that kind of stuff. What else do we have? CME Group expands crypto offerings with options on Solana and XRP futures, marking institutional adoption and regulatory progress in the crypto market. No duh. But still, I'm still stuck on 5x leverage on ETFs. How's that work? Like, I need somebody to sit down and tell me this is how it works. This is the risk. I just want, how can I lose everything? That's the only answer. That's the only question. How do I lose everything? First, explain that to me. Explain to me how I lose everything. And then I'll try to understand if I want to take on that risk. 5x. Yes, until the government stops the shutdown, until they decide to go back and earn the money that we're still paying those nitwits. Yeah, we're going to be waiting for a whole bunch of ETFs to come out, a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. I'm trying not to be political, but there are a whole bunch of people that wear uniforms that aren't going to get paid, and it's freaking me out because I'm just like, wow. Amazing. Amazing. What else is there? Hackers laundered. Now, this one is actually interesting to me. Hackers laundered $28 million from the BitTensor breach using anime NFTs. It's amazing for a few different reasons. One is, yes, anime is that freaking popular. Period. It's absolutely that popular. And they did it over time. It wasn't just like boom. It was over time, and it makes people wonder, like, where's the security in that? It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah, when I say that there's a lot of news going on out there, there's a lot of news that's going to have an effect on us. When you've got a retired Wall Street titan whose name still carries weight, indeed, people will still jump because Joe Moglia said to. They won't even ask how high. They'll just jump and pray it's high enough. That's how big of a Wall Street titan he was. Now, I guess technically still is, right? Now, what I start to think about is, with everything that's going on there, how does that work? Right? How does that work? Just so many things going on in the industry right now. So many changes, so much news. New York trying to come out with their New York City trying to come out with their new office to make it easier for businesses to do crypto in New York. And I have to tell you, New York State is not easy to do business with by any means. It's not easy. But even New York State, people up there are starting to think, we better get on board because we're losing companies. Companies are changing their domicile, meaning their official address from state to state because New York is too difficult to do business in. There are companies that are just straight up just leaving New York State. So it's kind of a big deal. It's a very big deal that New York City is making a move like that because you don't make moves like that without having conversations. Dead serious. It's nuts. It really is kind of nuts when you stop and think about this stuff. Hackers laundering money from all over the place. That's a big deal. Again, I go back to energy, all that kind of stuff. Right now, you're looking at different Bitcoin miners or just miners in general, right? Mostly Bitcoin miners that have taken the time to build out AI operations. Do you know their valuation? It has been jumping anywhere from 150% to 500% just because of their prep for AI. Yeah. It's these little pieces. I keep telling you guys, it's these little pieces of news that you get these little tidbits. And if you just take the time to slow down, think them out, think them through, you might sit there and just go, whoa, that's interesting. How does that play out? Why would Eddie tell us about how, Joe Moglia thinks in the next 5 years, everything's going to be tokenized? Yeah. Because the ripple effects from those kinds of moves are huge. Huge. And people just they're not paying attention. I wish they would. That'd be a lot better, right? Pay attention to what's going on around you. Do your own research. Know your entries and exits. And absolutely invest deliberately. And it's all built in a way that you have your foundation and you're building on top of that strong foundation. A foundation of knowledge. So if you read these articles, that's your cursory review, right? Oh, I got that news. Okay, I can react to that news. Next level down is, wait a minute, let me take a step back. I can react to that, but if I give it a little bit more thought, is there anything deeper to this piece of news? Does that piece of news link to something else? And there you go. That's when you start realizing, oh, okay, now I understand the difference. Because how I react at that cursory level, at that standalone piece of news, could be incredibly different than what my reaction would be if I linked it to another piece of news. So, for example, Joe Moglia says next 5 years. Yesterday, Larry Fink was like, yeah, tokenization, blockchain tech, yeah, huge. AI, huge. What's that saying? 50,000 Frenchmen can't be wrong. And you start to put together those pieces, and it makes you think a little bit deeper. So if everything in banking, traditional finance is going to be tokenized, where does that take me? Where does that take the world if all of this is going on? That's when you start to realize, oh, I've got some ideas. I think it's going to go here. I think it's going to do this. I think it's going to go there. That's when you're connecting the dots. That's when you're actually creating your strand of pearls. Those pieces of information that stand alone don't necessarily mean anything, but as soon as you start connecting the dots, you realize, holy moly, there's a way bigger picture here. Yeah. So I try to bring news to you guys where we can have that kind of an example, right? Because if you get that kind of example, you can start to do that. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. That's the GMB 3. Just saying. Now, tonight's question is, who is the latest crypto-related company to file for a bank charter: Goldman Sachs, Grayscale, Stripe. And if it's other, put it in the comments, right? Well, I can tell you now, it's not Stripe. Stripe already filed for their bank charter. They already filed a long time ago, okay? They're waiting. It's not Grayscale. It's not Grayscale. And Goldman Sachs is already a bank. I know, I'm a prick. And nobody even put it in the comments. Usually, somebody like Rick Ritchie, they nail it. They know what it is. And I have to sit here with a straight face and be like, oh, well, we'll find out. I don't know about that, man. I got to play the game, right? Nobody got it. And when I say the name, people are going to be like, what? Yeah. Uh-huh. So there's this tiny little company. And the name is Sony. Go look up Sony Bank. Sony Bank owns a company, Connextia Bank, something like that. I forgot I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's called Connextia Bank. And through Connextia Bank, they actually filed for their bank charter. Ooh. Yeah. They filed for their bank charter. And what's crazy is a lot of the companies out there filing for their bank charters, right? Stripe, Coinbase, Circle. Hold it. Control F. I spell that right? Yeah. Stripe, Coinbase, Circle. Yeah. There are a lot of companies right now that issue stable coins that are really thinking about we should become a bank. I mentioned this yesterday. Why? Because if you issue a stable coin, right? I can't believe there are only 4 votes. That's pathetic. Pathetic. Sometimes people don't vote because they're embarrassed. It's totally anonymous. I don't see who voted how. I don't see who votes how. Just so you guys know. But looking at how this works, I'm just like, you look at all these companies that want to become banks. The Genius Act in the United States makes it so that if you're a stablecoin issuer, you cannot do staking of that stablecoin to pay out interest because banks don't want you to. So what are they doing? Filing to become banks. Ta-da! And now banks across the world are saying, we better get together and create our own stablecoin because it's going to get out of control and we're not going to be able to do anything about it. Wham, 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 wham. With, Tether and USDC, or USDT and USDC being by far the largest stablecoins out there. Nobody comes close. So a lot of people are going to be like, why do I need to muck around with your stablecoin? That stablecoin only works within your banks. Why do I care about your stablecoin? You better get with the program and start accepting these stablecoins. Yeah. That's going to happen. So I don't know why these banks are getting together and be like, oh, we must have our own stablecoin. Y'all are stupid. What they're thinking is, well, Tether makes all that money from their stablecoin, and Circle, in parentheses, Coinbase makes a lot of money off that stablecoin, USDC. We should have our own stablecoin because you could make a lot of money off of that. If you have the environment and it makes sense. So look at PayPal. Where is PayPal used? PayPal is used like freaking everywhere. They've got a network of businesses that, use PayPal services all over the place. So they have a reason to introduce a stablecoin. It could actually work. USDT is already there. USDC is already there. DAI was already there. All these new stablecoins that popped up out of the woodwork. Why would I use your stablecoin? USD1, who uses that stablecoin and why? When I look at the volume of that stablecoin, I just think bogus. Who's using it? Where can it be used? Oh, you're going to put it on Binance. Oh, that's cute. Why do I care? What are you paired with? You don't have the pairs that I need. So I can use that stablecoin to go buy stuff. To have that level of volume, who's passing that around? Bots? I can believe that. I can believe it's just bots passing USD1 around. It's got volume. It's got volume. Is it real though? Is it? Tether's volume is real. USDC's volume is real. PYUSD volume is real. DAO's volume is real. USDE's volume is real. You can look at all these stable coins and you're kind of like, yeah, those are kind of real. They're kind of like doing stuff. USD1, what are you really doing? Really? You had $2 billion transaction. That was it. $2 billion transaction. And even that one was, I don't think it was a real transaction. I mean, I think it was a real transaction, but it was an absolutely unnecessary transaction. You had $2 billion. You made a deal. But instead of giving them the $2 billion, you went and gave the $2 billion to these guys so that they could mint $2 billion worth of coin so that they could pay out. Yeah, you see how that works? That's why I said to you earlier, once you mint a coin, once you've minted a stable coin, well, it's been minted. And you have to have that money on hand. Like that money has to be out there. Why would I use that coin? So when I look at banks creating these little groups that have stable coins put together, what does that mean? Where am I going to use it? Just your bank? Just to move value within your core group of banks? What am I going to do with that? I mean, even if you sell crypto, what am I doing with that? What's that do for me? Most banks are only offering 3 cryptos. You mean nothing to me. I'm going to go over to Kraken Bank and I'm going to go buy whatever it is I want to buy. That's honestly how I look at this stuff. It's almost comical. It's almost comical. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us, and definitely, if you can, become a member because you're missing out on a lot. You're missing out on a lot of stuff. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, thank you for your trust. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. for the Crypto Daily. Everybody have a good one. Bye-bye.